9:30 p.m. and I'm starting my yoga right now because I've gone to sleep. My legs were in too much of pain. So I'm going to start with my warm-up and I'm going to show you how do I do that. I have put a video earlier before as well, but this I'm going to explain as I'm doing it. Do not ever miss your warm-up, because as I remember in a yoga workshop, very intensive one, and at the end we were supposed to get into a handstand and I did not warm up my wrist and it fell on my wrist, and then I had a ligament tear for around like a week, no actually not a week, it was around 15 days, 2 weeks. It was really, I mean, I could take the pain, but not the pain of not working out. Yeah, so very important. I'm gonna show you how do I start my warm-up. This you can do if you're doing any kind of training, weight training, your yoga, or any kind of exercise, any kind of physical activity. Also, I recommend that you do this every day, because as I mentioned, you do not realize how long you've been sitting. You're using your neck, you're not using your back. It's just becomes stiffer and stiffer day by day. So if you can, even if you have like 5 minutes, you can do this very quickly, because then you can reduce the number of counts. So not wasting more time. Let's get started. So I'll explain you in a very simplified way. You can start from the head and then go down to the lower body. So first I start with my chin tucks, as I've explained. So you can imagine that you're placing a book on your head, and then you have to press your chin with these 2 fingers, and do not push it very hard. And the wrong way of pushing it, which people often do, is upwards. No, it's not upwards. Keep a neutral back. Keep your face neutral, like the eye level in 90 degrees, and then you press this with your fingers. You have to feel some kind of pressure behind, like on the nape of the neck. When you press, release. Breathe in when you press. Hold there for 2 seconds. Release. Breathe in. Release. So when you do that, you'll see that you'll get a double chin. Only for that. And yeah, so if you can feel slight pressure, people who will have neck sprain, this exercise is very, very good for you. Trust me, as I mentioned, I used to sprain my neck like every second or the third day because of my spondylitis. Obviously, I have a cervical issue as well. After this, I don't want to mention, but I do. Okay, so then do this 5 counts, 10 counts is always better. Release. Release. I've actually done my warm-up. I'm just recording it to show it to you again. Then what you do is, this is very important, do the same thing. Keep it pressed, and then look upward. So when you start looking upward, you tend to release the pressure of your fingers. Do not do that. Keep it pressed, let it go upward. So basically, if you realize, if people with neck issues, you realize that every person will have a different degree of looking upwards. Minimum or the maximum kind of variation will be different. So if you do this as much as you can go up, keep it pressed, just release. You don't need to hold and come down. Press, and yeah, don't do this also, don't shrug your shoulders. Keep breathing, do not forget to breathe. It looks very simple, with the correct technique. Trust me, your neck issues, your neck pain, cervical issues will disappear like this if you keep this doing every day. I can, after doing it for years now, but now I've been doing very religiously since few months, still I can feel my neck stiffness. You will feel slight kind of discomfort or pain, but that's good, because you're pushing your neck behind, the cervical behind, so there will be some kind of discomfort. When you come out of that, it's going to be very, very relieving. Okay, so you finish this part. Now comes the neck. It's very simple, as you've seen. Just look right. So I couldn't look at my right as much as I could look on my left, but now the degree is the same. Right, left. So always wait for a few seconds and keep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So do this 10 counts every day, each 10. After this, what you do is, you have to feel that your hand, someone is pushing your shoulder like this downwards. So you have to, like now I'm sitting on the floor, but I am used to, without a chair I can do it. If you can grab a chair, grab the armrest, or actually the bottom, where you're sitting, the base of the chair, grab it and try pushing your, as you're not, like, don't go this way, but just try pushing your shoulder downwards. And with this hand, the opposite hand, just place your hand like this, so it looks like this. Okay, if you look straight, it looks like this and this. Okay, by pushing your, you can see my shoulder is bending down. Do this, and then slightly, with a slight pressure, as much as you give with the 2 fingers on the opposite side, 200, so you can feel a stretch over here. And this is very, very important. Now again, if you want to go on your left, you place your left hand on your right side of the face, so it looks like that. Again, do the same thing, pressure down. So what happens when you do not push this down, you will not get this stretch. That is why it is important to feel it like that. If you cannot get this, try asking someone just to press it a bit, but you will get it. So you push this till you feel comfortable. You'll get again a little bit of, you'll understand by doing it eventually that this kind of pain is good. This kind of relief. Do this 2 counts, that's enough. Now you come for the shoulders. The triceps. So what you do is, take the right hand behind. Okay, now it's very important that this elbow has to come behind your head, but without bending your head like this, without bending your neck. So when you keep this here with the left hand, you can see me and I'm not blurred. Yeah, I am maybe. Oh, the focus. Okay. Yeah. So when you do this, with the opposite hand, you have to grab your elbow and push it behind. So it is like behind and little on the left. I'll show you how it looks like this. So you will get a nice stretch over here. So these are your tricep muscles, and your shoulder also opens up. It is a very, very good stretch. You do it correctly, you will feel. So when you're not like opened up or like not much flexible, you'll see that when you do this, you're probably not able to, your elbow is not able to go much behind and your head or neck like this. Eventually it will happen, but it's okay. Just try doing this, because it was the same with me also. Now I can keep my arms straight with my head also upright. Remember, this is to stretch your triceps, your shoulders, but not to give any kind of strain on your neck. When you're trying to work on other muscle and the other muscle is not supposed to get strain or pain, and it is getting that kind of strain or pain, then you're doing it wrong. Okay, let's do this. Keep it pressed. Keep breathing. Release. The left hand goes behind. With the right hand, you grab the elbow. Push. Push. Can you see this? It has to be this kind of push. Push behind. So every stretch you will feel it. So basically you see your shoulder blades, they're like coming close, they're contracting. So if you know what protract and retract, you know what I mean. Yeah, so this is how. Okay, now the other thing, again another stretch. Keep this hand like this. With this hand just above the elbow joint, push it on the other side, push it, and this again stretches your shoulders and your triceps. Push. So what you do, you can try looking on the right side. When you're pushing on the left, it is more comfortable, so I can feel the entire stretch from here, and then push. Keep breathing. Again, right over left, right over leg about. So this you'll be confused like where to place this, but do not place this on the bone because you're not supposed to press the bone. A little above the elbows, okay? And then so you can see I'm pushing my hand like this behind. So I'm pressing it inwards. It's going backwards. Nice stretch again. This. So this is done. Now again, for your shoulders, you can do this 2-3 times. This, circling and anti-circling, clockwise, anti-clockwise. Now another thing, you can bend. Place your fingertips on your shoulders and then round. Now the incorrect way is when you just do this, there is no point. Make sure when you do this, your elbows touch each other and you go right behind also when you go in mid, so there is nice kind of opening up in your chest. So this, and then again go the other way. Okay, this is very good enough for your upper body. Now coming down to your waist. You can just sit like that, sit in Padmasana, or you can sit like that if you want. So, a better way is when you want to twist on your left hand side, you place your left leg over your right leg. You'll understand why I'm doing this. And then you place your right hand over here. So, with this kind of support, what you have to do is your elbow, depends on the flexibility where your elbow comes. You have to push your leg with your hand, so that gives you that twist. And with this, you just have to take support. You don't have to press it or like go literally hard. Push. Nice twist, nice stretch on your side. Keep pushing. Hold. Look on the left side. So initially when I started, you'll see that maybe when your flexibility is not that much, your shoulder will be like this. When after doing this, when you have good stretch on your left, you have enough flexibility, then this will be completely straight. So both your shoulders will be in the same line. And then when you do the other side, raise your right leg above your left leg, left hand like this, push your leg and go to the right side. Remember to keep your back straight. Do this, do not touch. This is just perfect. And with your neck, with your back, push as much as it's comfortable. Do not push yourself beyond your limit because you will eventually get there. Don't try to be someone, just try to be a better version of yourself each day. Okay? Then, so the sides are done. Very important, I have so many people who have complaints about their knees. A very, very simple exercise, but very effective. Whatever I'm teaching you today, the very simple exercises, but they're very, very effective. So about your knees, just two simple exercises. What you do is, you imagine you're placing like a towel or a napkin, roll it like a Frankie, and just make this kind of a ball, place between your knees. Can you see this? Yeah. And now what you do is, you try squeezing. You have to feel as if you're squeezing your knee in like at the same place and inside. You squeeze and squeeze inside. So it has to be like this and inside. Okay? Squeeze and press. Keep it inside. Don't use your hands and try. Just trying to show you the direction and release. People with severe knee pain, please do 20 counts. 10 counts for me is good. Now I do it without the napkin because I'm used to. When you're starting it at the beginning and you don't understand how to do it, then use a napkin or a towel. Not big enough, not very small. Otherwise, now you can just sit and squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. It just doesn't have to be squeezed at the same spot. Remember, there shouldn't be any gap. You have to squeeze and then inwards, squeeze and inwards. Now the other thing is, you have to play with your feet. And when you do this, always remember, this is flex, this is point, this is flex, this is point. When you flex, your calf gets stretched. When you do this, this portion gets stretched. So now what I'm teaching you doesn't really respect of your knee workout, but yes, the movement of the feet is going to be like that. So breathe in, try raising your, you can see there is some gap between my heel and the mat, so that also comes with practice. Eventually it may not rise that high. Then, when you do flex, you will feel a lot of pressure on your knees. Maintain that kind of pressure, and while going down, when you actually learn from a physiotherapist, they will always tell you just go down. But if you try keeping that flex and go down, and then point, excellent. For your calves, it works excellent. For your knees, it works excellent. Do not release that pressure. Again, then flex. Come up. Try holding this out. So without, I guess you need that support. Just keep your hand and just have that kind of support. Do not tilt like that and do not bend like that. So this also is kind of squeezing your knees. This is only at the same spot, because I'm not trying to adjust anything. Do these two exercises, works wonders. Please do not be lazy at this. You don't have to suffer your entire life just by being because you have been lazy. And of course you can give this like just a minute for your cervical and your knee pain especially. Okay, so now we've done this. Now we come to your ankle exercise, so ankle rotation. So either you can sit like this and go 3 or 5 pounds clockwise, anti-clockwise, like this, or you can stand and do for individual foot, nice and slow. Always remember, do not be in a hurry. Your warm-ups are very, very important. You can cheat yourself, not your body. As I mentioned, if your warm-ups are not good enough, you will definitely strain and sprain your muscles, and then you won't be able to do anything. It gets frustrating. So this is done. Okay, so we have almost covered everything. As I was mentioning, very important about your wrist. Okay, place it on the mat, just like open fingers. Okay, put pressure. Like I'm now kind of putting my pressure. I'm bending forward, putting pressure intentionally on my wrist. Very simple. Go clockwise. Do not bend your elbows. So what happens when you turn your left, your pressure comes on your left wrist. You rotate, then it comes on your right wrist. So it's like that. Let's turn by turn. So go 3 clockwise. Don't forget to breathe. Go anti-clockwise. My hands are still in the same position and way. And then, very important, yes, this way. Okay, so your wrists face forward. You don't give it any angle to it. It has to be completely straight. Depends on your flexibility, as I mentioned, it will come eventually. So exactly the same way it was right. Straight 90 degrees, again it has to be 90 degrees. Again go right. Do this. You know what I'm talking about. What amazing pressure you have on your wrists. Like good pressure. This kind of exercise is strengthening your wrists. 3 clockwise and 3 anti-clockwise. Okay, you can see my elbows are completely straight. If you want further, sometimes I do that mostly at work. And wrist press. Do namaste. Simple namaste. Maybe touching your elbow like this. Press your hand against each other. Pulse. It's like pulsing. You don't need to do this. You can keep your hands attached, close to each other and just keep pressing. Press, release. Press, release. So the pressure is here. Welcome, Kathy. You can do this 10 times. Yes, so you're done with your warm-up. It was so nice doing the warm-up with you. I hope you enjoyed. Well, I'm doing this for betterment of everybody, but it's sad that nobody does it. Or even if you do it, it would be really nice if you record a video and send it. Because you know what I hope eventually? I hope to build like a group or a community where I'm getting these videos, and because you need some kind of motivation. Like honestly, I'm a very self-motivated person. I don't need anybody to push me to do my workout or anything. There are so many people who need guidance or need somebody to push you, and I'm always there. So record videos, I can correct the form or whatever as much as I know, because having the knowledge of weight training for so many years, then having spondylitis, I did yoga, Ashtanga, Hatha, and then a bit of ballet, contemporary, the foundation, the techniques, the flexibility, stretches and everything. So I know one thing, your foundation has to be very, very strong. That's what I have practiced for so many years, and then eventually can build on that. But your foundation has to be correct, your technique has to be correct, and then you can build, get to intermediate advanced level. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please people, do this exercise irrespective if you're doing any kind of physical exercises or no. This is just for people who are randomly doing any kind of training. My canine trainers, for you especially, because you do a lot of standing, walking job and this and that. People who are just at the desk, near in front of the computer. This is how the problem started with me. Like I had my pain radiating down from my neck, it went down to my wrist, and all these, they are not good. And at young age, everybody is facing these issues. So please do this, it really helps. 5 minutes, but once you do it, like for exercise sake, once you do any form of exercise or anything for 21 days continuously, you will never go back again not doing it. So I hope you enjoy and hope you stick to this routine. And any questions, I'll be happy to help. Bye bye.